Journals. This podcast is at the basic level. It requires no knowledge of Accordance Bible software, nor Hebrew or Greek. Professional journals are the very heart and soul of biblical scholarship. They offer the best way to stay current in the field. Long before scholars write books or Bible dictionary articles, they publish their very best work in these journals for review by their peers. Accordance Bible software is pleased to announce it now offers its users two collections of journals, one critical and another conservative, both fully searchable and integrated into Accordance. The Journal of Biblical Literature is the professional journal of the world's largest association of biblical scholars. We're very pleased to announce the release of this new Accordance module. With over 20,000 pages in 104 issues, it covers 25 years of critical scholarship. It is absolutely invaluable for scholarly research, whether you're writing your dissertation or publishing that definitive work on the most obscure of topics. If JBL isn't cutting edge enough for you, we also offer Semeia, the Society's experimental biblical criticism journal. Here are all 92 issues from 1974 to 2002, including insights from such diverse viewpoints as linguistics, folklore studies, contemporary literary criticism, structuralism, and social anthropology. On the other side of the theological divide, the Theological Journal Library is a collection of 27 academic journals, representing mostly conservative biblical scholarship. Add these journals together, and you have a total of 550 years of conservative biblical scholarship. While time doesn't permit us to mention all the journals included in this collection, here's a list of them. Here's the first group, and you may want to pause this podcast in order to peruse this list. And here's the second group. The most convenient way to search the journals, of course, is using Accordance 9's My Groups feature. Placing all one's journals into a single folder will enable a user to select a reference, word, or phrase, and use Search All to access its entire collection in a single click. Here, for example, I've searched for every reference to 1 Corinthians 11:10, Paul's enigmatic saying that a wife ought to have a symbol of authority on her head because of the angels. The result? Over 1,200 references to this passage, with suggestions from the entire range of biblical scholars on how to resolve this puzzling remark. Need a literary survey of the importance of the Dead Sea Scrolls instead? No problem. Here it is. Frankly, I don't know how many times the scrolls are mentioned in these journals. I stopped counting at 3,000. Search All allows users to search by any of three language fields, English, Greek, or Hebrew, as well as by reference and caption. Users may also use any of Accordance's connecting commands and various wildcard symbols in their searches. Need a little rather than a lot? Each of these journals can also be searched separately. JBL, for instance, can be searched by any one of its 14 fields, or the Westminster Theological Journal by its 11 fields. Both can be searched by multiple fields simultaneously, or any combination of fields. And once again, Accordance permits both wildcard searches and command searches. Such precision allows Accordance users to find exactly what they need when they need it without tediously sorting through reams of paper by hand. Now, let's see these journals in action in Accordance. As you can see, I've already combined my journal collections into a single journals group, a custom group under My Groups. Here's JBL, and here, of course, are the various journals in the Theological Journal Library. Once I'd done that, I remembered that I had still one other journal that I'd forgot to mention, and that is the Biblical Archaeology Review. So I went ahead and tossed that in as well. I'll close that group. The advantage, of course, of having that kind of custom group is that I'll be able to access all my journals at once through Accordance's Search All. So, let's say that I'm reading along in Matthew 12. Of course, Jesus' conflicts with the Pharisees are absolutely legendary. And journals are great for investigating controversies. So, for example, if I'm reading about the Pharisees and I want to find out more about them, all I have to do is to click Pharisees, then I go down and do a search all in journals. And as quick as that, Accordance finds all of the places where the word Pharisee is mentioned in all of these journals. I'll pull this over just a bit, the browser, so that you can see the list of places. And all I have to do then is to page through these. And as soon as I find one or more that happen to look particularly appealing, all I have to do is to double-click that, and I can go ahead and read those articles like normal. What I'm going to find out, of course, is the ongoing modern controversy over the socioeconomic niche that the Pharisees occupied in first century Judea. Were they actually small businessmen, the emerging bourgeois, as is the traditional interpretation, or instead were they really civil servants, part of the inevitable bureaucracy needed to run Jerusalem as a first century city-state? That's the kind of question that journals are going to be excellent at answering. Now, as long as we're trying to keep up with journals and discoveries in the field, let me dismiss this text here, and let's search for another modern discovery, this time the city of Ebla. I happen to be in St. Louis at the very first announcement of the discovery of Ebla in the United States. That was the early 1980s. I'm curious just how far we've come since then. Well, all I have to do is to page through these various journals, and I can read the last 20 or 25 years' worth of articles and find out exactly what has been happening in Ebla research. So, journals are great for investigating controversies. They are also excellent for looking up new discoveries in the field. Another way I use journals is to keep up with former professors. For instance, I'm an alumnus of the University of Michigan and had the honor of studying under George Mendenhall. So if I want to keep up with what he happens to be doing and publishing, here it is, a life worth of work. And, as a matter of fact, I can even keep up with a rather interesting software company. For all their value, paperback journals are a nightmare. They're physically fragile, must be searched by hand, individually, and occupy a huge amount of office space. Not only that, but they never seem to be at hand when one needs to do spot research. Accordance's 2 journal collections eliminate all these problems. Now, searching is nearly instantaneous, and citing an article is easier than ever. We can take our journals with us, freeing up valuable shelf space, and if we don't want to lug around our laptops, we'll soon be able to install these collections on our iPhones, iPods, or iPads. It's an exciting time to be in biblical studies. This is Dr. J for Accordance Bible Software. Thank you for watching this episode of Lighting the Lamp.